Hi, Kevin. How are you?
I am okay. How old are you?
I'm I'm 50. How am I? 52.
Okay,
Yeah, I'll be
cool.
53 in December 31st. Yes.
All right. So
hmm
what are we talking about? What do you got for me?
Okay, so you said more or less. I mean, fear of strangers, no robbery. We do understand that, the attraction is based on how you look, and getting what you want is based on how you look. However, I will say this. I agree with what you're saying. Um, My feeling is this: if a man is not interested in these so-called average women, why do they leave, impregnate them? Why do they get themselves tied and leave their children with these women? I've seen it, and it's a
Hold
horrible
on, hold on, hold
situation.
on, hold on, hold on, hold on. See, how long have you been watching my program?
About 4 weeks.
hmm Over here, I deal strictly with facts, data, and statistics above anything else.
That's
Okay.
correct.
Okay. So
hmm
you said if men don't want to marry these average women, why they
Yes.
get them pregnant?
Yes.
Okay. Well, let's first start off with the fact that 54% of black men are single and childless.
hmm
So
And I guess that. Okay, go
hold
ahead. Go
on, hold
ahead.
on.
Okay.
54% of black men
hmm
have no children.
hmm
30% of black men are married. And the children that come out of that marriage are exempted from your statement.
That
Because
is
there's still
correct.
so that gives us 54 and 30. That's
hmm
84.
hmm
That
hmm
means a full 80% of the children being made in the black community are being
Yes.
made by less than 20% of the men.
hmm
So my question,
Okay.
so to answer your question is why are women having children with men with multiple children who aren't married? And then women like you asking why are the women picking them?
You got me there, Kevin. You got me
Goddamn right
there.
I did.
You got me there.
Because you came in with that
Okay.
same old talking point that men are leaving babies everywhere. And you should be
Well,
ashamed
no,
of
not,
it. Ma'am,
no,
54,
no, not.
54% of black men are childless. So you can't, why are these men doing it? What men are doing what?
No, no, I wasn't making an accusation to that. Maybe that's how I misspoke, and I'm sorry about that.
No, it is an accusation.
Uh,
You said if these average men, if these men don't want these average women, then why are they leaving them with babies? That is an accusation that the black men are having sex with black women and leaving them with babies, and they're average. That's not supported by the facts.
okay. And I guess, well, let me. Can I say this?
Go
I
ahead.
was piggybacking off a couple of things you said in some of y- your your
hmm
other things, where you said that women who are raising black boys, they're doing it alone, and the boys are not getting the mentorship from the males that they need to become the kind of men that you're talking about and you're describing now, which I think that I is an asset to me as well. Because what you said, I've learned so much myself that having these women and leaving these children with these women, particularly male children,
No
they don't
one's
get what
leaving.
you're
No
giving
one.
now.
No, ma'am. No, ma'am. No, ma'am. See, no one's
Mm.
leaving children.
No, you don't think that because when you
Are
talk
they
about the
starting out
single,
married? Are these women starting out married?
no, they're not.
Then I don't want to have any more conversation. They
Okay,
are
so you're
choosing to.
dealing
Hold
based
on,
on
man.
just
Hold on,
marriage.
man. Hold on, man.
Yeah.
Yes, yes.
Okay.
You're old
Okay.
enough to remember what the world was.
Absolutely, I do.
Then, damn it,
I
we're
miss
not
it.
supposed. Are
I
you
missed it.
supposed? Hold on, ma'am. Then you
hmm
know that if a woman has a child today with 33 forms of birth control, with single, it is not like it was when we were coming up. If a child
I
is
miss
born
it.
today, it's because a woman chose to bring it to term.
That
So
is
the better
correct.
question is why are these women who share your reflection
hmm
choosing to be single mothers? Choosing to be unwed? No, ma'am. It's a choice to be a single mother because
Correct.
you choose to get pregnant before you're married.
That's correct.
And we have all
I
the
guess.
statistics. We have all the
Yes.
statistics, all the data, all of the predictive information of the outcome from children raised in single parent households. So, my question to you is why are these same women you're talking about choosing to be single mothers and put their family in that likely future?
I, I'm being transparent because this is what I'm trying to say in essence. We're taking advantage of you guys. And if men or boys are not taught that this is the type of manipulation and games that women play on them, this will constantly happen, and you'll have
You're
young
taking
boys being
advantage of
raised
who,
around
man? But who
women
are you taking advantage of?
of men who are not aware of a woman's need to,
Ma'am,
you
hold on.
know,
Okay, man, we've already, okay, I'm talking about the 80% of children. Women are taking
hmm
advantage of what sector of men?
okay, okay, all right, average men.
No, no,
However,
ma'am, no, ma'am,
average
no,
men,
ma'am, no, no, ma'am. They're not
what?
average. They're not average. Ma'am, the math 100% of
Mhm.
men, 54% single. Women aren't taking advantage of single and childless. So that's 5 out of 10, almost six, almost 5.5 out of 10 that women cannot take advantage of with childbirth, right? Right?
If you put it that way, that's
That's
correct.
not if you put it that way. That's how it is. If you can't, if a
Okay,
man,
so
no, ma'am, no, no, I don't do, I do logic. 54
okay,
percent of men are single and childless. So by that fact, they cannot be taken advantage of when it comes to having children. True or false?
that is true.
Okay, so we move 54 out of 100 away. There's 46 left. 30 of those men are married. They can't be taken advantage of because their children are coming from a marriage. True or false?
That is true as well.
So there's only that so that 54 and that 30% is 84. That's over 80%. So there's 16 left. And the 16 left are producing 80% of the children. So in what you're saying is black women are taking advantage of 16% of men who are loose with their seed and making the lion's share of children in black America.
I am saying I have said that. Yes.
Well, then I think the problem ain't the men.
No, I
If it,
never said it was the men.
Well,
Mm-mm.
but why pick that 16% if they can be and why are they picking them? Because they will allow themselves to just have babies all over the place. And if you did something very simple, how many of those 16%, if you made marriage a requirement, would they still reproduce with? If you had to be
It
married before you could produce a child, would
would
women
be
still
lower.
be?
Be lower.
So I guess the point I want to kind of get into, man, is the problem is not with the men. The problem is black men are leaving kids everywhere. Women are choosing to have kids with a minority of black men, and there's a
Okay.
case that can be made that that's not the best majority. Are those 16%? Are they the Rhodes scholars and the movers and shakers and the leaders of industry?
No. Can I say something a little
Go ahead, go ahead,
unintelligent, but try to make
go
a
ahead.
point here? Um, what you're saying is correct there. However, say for instance, the woman is trying to get a high value man, and I'm going to athletics because my scope in life is very
You're going
is
to
is not
athletics.
small. Yes, athletics and the guys who make it big income there. A lot of women on NFL too as well. They go with those. They
Well,
meet
first
these
off, I need to
guys
be
and
clear. I need
they
to be
marry.
clear. I don't. I need to be clear. I don't consider those guys to be high value just because
Oh,
they make
okay.
money.
Oh, so we're not classifying them as high
Well,
value.
not automatically. Not automatically. High value is
Okay,
more than just money. But go ahead. I just need to make that
true.
distinction.
From a woman's perspective, then I will say it that way.
Go ahead.
And then the women are having babies, and these guys are having babies by multiple women, and it's becoming like a financial hustle. It's a financial hustle.
So,
Um,
so.
so so it goes back to what I was
No,
trying to say
ma'am.
about the
It
average
doesn't,
men.
ma'am. No, it doesn't, ma'am. How many men are in the NFL?
Not many.
Thank you. So why are we
Not
talking
many
about
when you
that?
talk about
So why are we
globally.
talking about
Yes.
that? That's not. I mean, that's not the majority of the men. That's not the majority of the situation. In this
But if you
situation,
say,
ma'am,
hmm
you asked initially started with our community and asked why these children are being left fatherless. because women are choosing to marry before they carry, and they're choosing to reproduce with men that they would not marry.
Mm.
What do we do if 80% of our children are being selected or being made by mothers who pick this way?
And at that point, I was kind of asking, is there responsibility on the side of the male to be about his seed to say, hey, if I'm going to play, I'm going to not leave that egg. I
Ma'am,
mean,
ma'am, no, it's no.
no,
Look, you
no,
keep
you
trying to
don't
make
think
it
so?
no. I'll tell you why not.
You
80%
don't
of
think of,
children, okay, listen,
hmm, yes,
80% of children being made by 16% of the men.
right.
They
That
can
that's
only
not a
marry,
that.
stop, ma'am.
Hmm. Yes,
They can only marry one woman.
I understand that,
So how much
but
you can't
but
put
all
that much responsibility on 16% of, no, ma'am. Responsibility, the responsibility comes back to women, and they're choosing to pick men to make reproduce with that aren't their husbands.
so Kevin, can I ask this question from a man's perspective though?
Go ahead.
If and I know we're talking about 60% of the population, and you're talking about the other 85,
I'm
84%.
talking about what matters. Yes.
Right, I got you. Um, why is it that the men wouldn't worry about who has their seed and raising their child? Does and in
What do you
particularly
talk
if they
about? The
had
men
a
wouldn't.
boy
Which men? The 16% who making most of the kids?
child? Okay, can we talk about that for a second? Would
I,
lend me that
I don't.
latitude?
Okay. What are you asking? Why guys who are okay? Man, listen, listen,
How
stop,
can I get a
stop. No, no, no,
nice?
man. Because
Yeah,
that's ultimately, man.
yes,
Do you have any children?
I do.
Are all your children by one man?
Yes,
Do you know women who have children by multiple men?
I do, and I see
Do you
the boys
know?
suffer.
Excuse me. Do you think
Sorry.
these women? Do you think these women under? You know women who have children by multiple men, but you chose to have all your kids by one man because it was a choice.
Right.
Man,
No choice.
you
Right.
cannot hold. If a man is reckless with his seed, do you not think women know that this man would? If the, do you not realize that there are women out there who just want babies and don't want to be married?
I do. I'm a social worker. I do.
Well, then, damn it, then how you gonna stop that? You stop, and you know how you fix this? Stop paying for them. Let them go make a baby, and then stop giving them any kind of aid. If you decide to go make babies with a man who's a serial impregnator, you live on what you can live
Hmm.
on.
Right.
But how does that
I
affect them?
agree.
The bigger question is why are women making babies out of wedlock with men who are, like I said, there's only 16% of men responsible for the lion's share of kids. Even if that 16% of men became born again Christians and married their baby mama, they can't marry them all. In
We were
Memphis,
duped.
Memphis, what would you have? Three men who had 87 children. Do you not think
I
those
do remember
80?
on Ayana,
Well, do you not? Then those women knew about each other.
and they knew about it. They knew about it.
So where does the responsibility lie? With the man?
You know what, Kevin? I wish there were more men that say the stuff that you say because I will tell you, I was raised with a dad in the household. He was definitely me and my sister and my brother, no kids in the family. But this open conversation, I never had this. I wish I'd have had this. I'm going to give it to
Man, what
my
do you
girls.
mean? What do you mean more men to say what I say? 54% of our
Just
men are no, ma'am.
to tell the truth.
No, ma'am. Hold on, ma'am. No, no, no. See, that's why I push
To
back.
tell the truth about
No, ma'am.
life. I
Stop,
didn't
stop,
know
stop,
this.
stop, stop, stop.
Seriously, Kevin.
Can't overtalk me, lady. I just can't keep doing that. You act like I'm the first person that's been saying this. If 54% of black men are single and childless, these conversations have been happening my entire life. The problem ain't the conversation. The problem is who y'all ain't listening, doing what the hell you want to do, and then coming back and playing innocent. I didn't know. I didn't know. Yeah, you knew. You have to unmute yourself, but you were over talking me.
I didn't know.
Man,
I didn't know I was muted. Okay.
well, because I told you you were over talking me, and that won't work. But man, we're
Well, I'm
about the
sorry.
same age. These
Yes.
conversations have been going. As long as I've been on the planet, men have been having these conversations. The problem is not the conversation. The problem is the reality is that our women did what the hell they
Hmm.
wanted to. They did
Yeah,
what
we
they
got
wanted
happy.
to. And
Yeah.
talking to me, and now the
Yeah.
chickens have come home to roost. They thought I don't need no man. I'm strong, independent, blah blah blah. And now at 40 plus years old, the dynamics have changed.
You ain't never told a lie on that one. I'm not going to disagree with that. I thought I had the lifetime.
Well, so
I
men have,
thought I had a lifetime. I never
like it or
did.
not, men have had to suffer this shit. And now, I mean, Brittany, go ahead and unmute yourself.
Well, I love this episode, particularly because even at the end here, Kevin could have went ahead and took full ownership of this because there is something called recency bias, and when sometimes or at times when enough time has passed, people are able to speak or try to rewrite history. And when this woman was like, you know what, Kevin, I wish someone was telling me these things when I was a bit younger. He could have sat there and said, "Yo, this is why I'm around now. This is why I'm pushing the message that I'm pushing." Yada yada yada. But no, he humbly took two steps back and said, "No, these people have been around telling this for the longest. I'm not the first. This wasn't my idea fully. Men have spoken about this. It's just that a lot of women decided that they wanted to do what they wanted to do. And for all the things they wanted to do, they want none of them to have any responsibility or accountability when things happen." But let's just go ahead and unpack what she said. So she first initially came in speaking about why is it that these so-called men aren't too favorable with these women, but they're just leaving them with children. And as Kevin unpacked that, she slightly was switching her tune up just a little bit. But of course, when faced with the facts and the stats, she's like, you know what? All right, well, something with my information is off. Then she hears him out, and then she's like, all right, well, now my whole wall and everything I was planning on coming in here and trying to build up is all crumbling. The truth of the matter is, in this day and age, there are like almost a gazillion contraceptions. There are different ways in which you could alleviate responsibility off of you being a woman. The same isn't for a man. If any child that is born in today's world is born by choice, and when I mean born by choice, there are so many factors and so many stages, and even which if you didn't want to be a parent, you could even drop off a baby at a firehouse or fire station, and that baby will be taken into the system and be taken care of. I've even seen videos of you had the ability to drop it off in a baby box, and it's obviously someone's on the other end of it, and you could drop off a baby anonymously, and they would take the child and go care for the child and then put the child in the system to find a parent. Like, these are the things that can be done now. So again, and of course that's a very extreme, type of circumstance, but these circumstances people often find themselves in. It's hard because of course you wouldn't really think that you would be the type of person to do something like that or someone else would be, but these are real life things that happen. So again, you could take all these extreme measurements and still alleviate all responsibility. So at some point in time, you can't keep blaming the man. Once that is done, and the woman is now pregnant, and even before she becomes pregnant, the woman could go through so many steps to make sure she doesn't get pregnant. And even after she does, she even has more steps she can take. And even after the baby comes and it's here in the world, she then has more options she can take. So of course, if a child is born into this world and you are taking care of that child, there is no excuse. You have to figure it out. But what Kevin is saying, why would you have a baby with a man but not marry him? We live in a world now where having a child is less serious than being married. You talk about marriage, oh no, that's a bit scary. A contract that could be broken at any time and I can leave and I will have no commitment, no ties to this person ever again in my life. Oh no, I can't do that. Oh, but baby, oh yeah. Push your legacy into the next generation. Push your DNA into the next generation. We have a tie that is permanent for the rest of our lives. But yeah, that's less serious. We have to start waking up.
Alicia, go ahead and unmute yourself. Hello, how are you? Good. What do you got for me on the topic? Are you
Some
worth the wait? Are you worth We're talking about women making men wait. Women who are not virgins, some who have children, making men who are high value, productive, competitive, successful men wait to have sex for whatever reason. You know the whole 90-day rule, that kind of stuff.
Oh yes,
That's what we're
absolutely.
talking about. Not just making them wait because. So what do you got on the subject?
So I just wanted to say that while I do believe that there are some men that will wait, most men will not, and
Mm-hmm.
that's just a fact. I have been that person who has waited 90 days. I've waited however many days because of my mom reading the Steve Harvey book and whatever. And, my mom and my sister giving me advice. And I have learned that it really does not work. Although it does with some men. I think certain men with specific types of morals who are looking for a specific type of woman, they are willing to
What
wait.
kind of men are you talking about?
A man who sees women as a prize, or a man who has a lot of options for women, who might choose this woman to be the one that he courts, and then these women to be the women that he.
Okay, I want to be saying as morals. You said morals.
Well, yes, because some men for a specific kind of woman will wait.
Okay, but I like to get down granular. Morals. How do you determine a man's morals based upon? Are you talking about men who are Christians?
No, not at all.
Okay, so what do we talk about a man's morals?
A man who sees a woman as someone.
Because
uh,
morals are right and wrong, and that has nothing to do with seeing a woman. So what you're talking about is you're almost talking about a man who pedestalizes a woman, puts
okay,
on a pedestal.
but also a man who sees the cherry as the prize.
Okay,
Like,
but where's the cherry?
the cherry is, the
Where
same
is it located?
in the panties.
No, ma'am. Where is the cherry located on a dessert?
Oh, at the top. At the top.
Thank you. It's at the top of the pedestal.
Oh, okay.
So that's where it is. A man who pedestalizes women, puts them up. But let me ask, what culture of competitive, successful men put women ahead of men?
I don't know that any do.
because that's a formula for disaster.
Yes.
Putting women at the top is the sure way to crumble a society.
Mm-hmm. Mm-hmm.
So the moral thing to do if you want a society to continue is to put who on top?
The man.
Right. So why play games with the thing that needs to be on top?
Listen, at first, you wanted someone to come on and say why they think you're crazy and they don't agree with you. But the more I sit here and the more I'm obviously listening and thinking about my own experiences, it's not a good idea to play those types of games. And that's why I've told my mom,
Mm-hmm.
I'm a human being. And, granted, I wait a long time, many, many months, up years to engage in that type of activity, but that's because I don't date for a long period of time.
Okay. So how old are you?
38. I'm well past the danger zone.
So do you plan on? So have you been married?
No, engaged twice, but never married. No.
You know what I say? Sisters are the queens of being engaged, man. Being engaged, if we could count engagements as marriages, I wonder if he's like. But okay, so you've been engaged. Do you ever want to have children?
Biological children?
Well, yeah.
Only if I marry someone and he wants to have.
So what I got to ask the question.
Adopt, but yes.
What I asked the question, and I'm trying to put this in a delicate way as possible, but at 38 years old, why should anybody wait years to have sex with you?
Oh, no.
Or months.
No. Oh, okay.
Because you're talking about everybody else. And what I thought I heard you say was, but for me, I wait a long time.
No, in between people, like
Oh, okay.
Yes. No, me, I wait a very long time. Like, I'm not going to.
I waited a very long time for what? To have sex?
Yeah. Yes.
So when you meet a man, you wait a long time.
Depending on the man. But no, that's not what I'm exactly saying. What I'm
Man,
saying.
that's what you keep saying, though. That's what we keep hearing. Slow down. Breathe. If you meet, how long have you typically waited from the time you met a man to the time you guys are first intimate?
The shortest, probably, honestly, I don't know, a week or two. The longest,
Mm-hmm.
no more than about 3 months.
Okay. And so that's a vast range, and that's what frustrates men. There is no logical sense to a man that you could say one man has to wait up to 90 days and one guy doesn't even have to wait a week. Men on the marketplace look at that as, I'm going to buy a car, and one dealership is offering it for $100 and another dealership is offering it for $100,000. Men are price sensitive, and we are cost benefit calculators. So in your own example, you've just validated why men are so frustrated with women on the marketplace, because you can talk and have these things and Steve Harvey and this and that, my mother, but in your own day-to-day life, 90 days to a week. But at the end of the day, no matter what your calculus is, whatever kind of interaction you want to have with the man, do you currently have it?
Right now?
Yes.
No.
Are you in the process of getting it within the next 6 months?
Doubtful.
Then what you're doing isn't working, and you're almost 40.
Yeah.
So you talk to your mother and it's, where's your father?
Oh, my dad, they're still married. He's
okay, but what I'm understanding is you're an attractive woman, but why no man?
The simple answer is, there's two simple answers, and I'm sure every woman and many men say the same thing: pickiness. The second simple answer is because a lot of the men that I actually really am interested in, like for real, they're it just not it's not reciprocated. To the point where like we'll date and everything will be fine, and then all of a sudden they're gone or I'm gone.
Okay.
Just
No, no, no. Let's talk about the ones where you said you just told two different things. The kind of men you say you're really interested in, it's not reciprocated.
yes.
Uh,
That's
well,
the
it
right.
not reciprocated means it's not coming back with them. So you just told a story where they leave and you leave. That's confusing.
Well, or I leave because I have done the same thing.
So it's not reciprocated from you.
That yes, because of something very specific that might happen that makes me become unattracted to the person. Very, just
Why is getting with a man so complex? This is like calculus 3.
and it shouldn't be.
No, it shouldn't.
There is a person that I was dating that seems to be coming back around, but I don't really know if that's the case. I don't know.
Why were you engaged? You were engaged twice.
I was engaged twice. Yes.
Somebody dropped to a knee, presented a ring in public, and asked you for your hand in marriage.
Yes. Almost three times, but twice
And who broke off the engagement the first time?
I did.
Who broke off the engagement the second time?
I did.
Why did you accept the ring the first time?
Because he was my best friend, my high
And
school.
that didn't stop after he gave you the ring.
Oh no, it didn't stop.
So
But
why'd you break it off? If it was good enough to accept the ring, why was it not good enough to go through with the marriage?
the reason is because he and I were not compatible in
But, but you but you accepted the ring.
that is correct.
So you weren't sexually compatible.
That is correct.
How would you know if you see? Here's the problem with having too many. Here's the problem with sex before marriage. You wouldn't know that if you if you were a virgin. There's no sexual compatibility. See, you're a different kind of perfect example. 38-year-old woman who should 70, 80 years ago, you'd have been married a long time ago, but it has become so complex. I mean, you're accepting engagement from people you're not sexually compatible with. This doesn't work, that doesn't work. I'm too picky, and so forth. You know what that ends up being, is, ma'am? That's what that ends up in. Buy a dog, die alone. That's what this ends up in. Because at 40 years old, almost 40 years old, you become more difficult, not less. Have you had therapy yet?
No.
I think it would be wise.
Why? To
Excuse
find a
me?
man?
Excuse me? To find a man?
Yes. That's why I need therapy to find a man.
No, you need therapy, period.
Well, there's nothing.
Why is that? Okay, let's stop right there. Seriously, ma'am. Why is therapy insulting to so many black women? Like, you're a woman. Why is that insulting to you?
No, I'm not insulted at all. I wanted to be a therapist. I was just asking, are you saying I need therapy to find a man? Is that
Well,
what?
you need something. You need something. How about that? You need something because what you're doing ain't working.
That's fair.
And what I'm listening to, ma'am, is a woman who's been engaged to my best friend, such and so forth. You know all these things. And you got a man to the point to waste his time, money, and resource to the point to where he was involved with you enough to where he bought a ring, you accepted, and you broke it. See, if we started judging you women like you judge men and put you on the don't date them girl site, your face will be posted out, plastered all over it. Don't deal with this. Listen, ma'am. Listen, you broke off 2 engagements, one from a best friend, and you say because the dick wasn't good. I'm sorry. That's a trash ass reason. And why'd you break up the second one? Bad dick again?
No, I don't want to hurt. I don't want him to see that. Well, honestly, because he was, I could not learn anything. did not challenge me intellectually, and that was a major problem for me. We became engaged too quickly. He told me he proposed to me because he thought I was about to leave him, well, which was kind of true. So I made a mistake. I just made a mistake, and we were only engaged for 2 months. I made a mistake.
How long were you guys together?
We were only together for 6 months, but we worked together before, so
Okay.
we'd known each other for a year.
And how old were you when this happened?
24, 5. I don't remember. It was a long time ago. I hadn't been engaged for a while. The third almost engagement.
Hold up. So, what was the first time you were engaged?
I was in college, but he was my high school sweetheart. But I must.
So hold on.
20.
So you were engaged to a high school / college sweetheart, but you and not him together because you guys weren't physically compatible. Trash ass reason, but okay. Then a guy you knew for a year, but he didn't challenge you intellectually. What did he do for a living?
I'm in education.
No, what did he do for a living?
Oh, what did he do for a living? The second one, we were
yes.
We worked for a.
So you're both teachers.
No. Okay. I'm not a teacher, but we worked for a residential treatment facility for kids.
Okay. And you're in education. What do you do now?
I am in administration.
What did I tell you guys? Black women are married to the system. That's your husband. Put him in place. Put him in charge of whatever I said last broadcast. That's what they are. Because you're getting rid of men because of sexual incompatibility. And a lot of women say, well, that's an important part. Okay. Then the man, that last man, you were both doing a similar job. So he was a stable man though, financially. As stable as you, at least.
He was a stable. Well, there wasn't a lot of money in that job.
I didn't say, I said as stable as you, at least.
That's correct. You're right.
Because if you were in it, he was in it and you were stable, right?
Yes, I was.
So because he wasn't what you're showing, ma'am, is the standard a black woman has for a black man to be married. You damn near have to be a god. Go back and man, we just had a conversation. You said you couldn't learn anything from it.
That's just a nice.
What'd your mother learn from your father?
Well, a lot. My dad's I can't honestly tell you specifics, but how to be a wife, and a best friend. And I just know my dad is very, very smart. He's a provider. You
got any siblings?
I have 2 sisters.
Are they married?
One is married and one is engaged. And this is her, I don't know, 3rd engagement.
It's not. I don't find this. I think it's kind of sad that so many of our sisters are so damn complex and difficult to wed and difficult to keep. In the black community, the divorce rate is approaching towards 60%, and 80% of divorces are filed by women. So you're already the least married. You're the most difficult to get married. And I'm going to say, I'm going to make a proclamation. You've heard the black women are the most educated. And that stat, what it really means is you're most enrolled. So I'm going to say you're the least married, but I'm going to also say you're the most engaged. You're the most engaged. I don't meet another group of women who've been engaged 1, 2, 3, 4, 5 times. Right? It is not uncommon to meet a black woman who's 40 years old and been engaged at least a couple times. It's very common. And I'm talking about full out engagement. Man drops. That's not cool. Because at the end of the day, you're not getting the outcome you want. Because your life is supposed to mean something. And at 38 years old, what's your life going to mean if you go through it by yourself until the grave?
I have a plan for
when
I become around 44, 45, to adopt 2 children, older children. That is
so you're going to be a single parent.
Yes, probably.
So you're going to purposely go in to do the one thing that you know gives children statistically the worst outcome.
My dog is snoring. I'm sorry.
How many kids you got?
I don't have children.
But you said your dog is snoring.
She's snoring. Yeah, I can hear her. I don't know if you can.
Okay, well that makes sense. See, her husband is the building. You think your godfather's crazy? Do you have a PhD?
No, a master's.
Masters, okay.
I'm a PhD.
Ma'am, you're an attractive woman. You have beautiful eyes, but come on, ma'am. You got to know that your non-black female counterparts are not this difficult.
Yeah, you're right. I agree with you. And both of them. Oh, let me not say well.
Both of your sisters?
No, I was gonna say both of my line sisters are married.
Delta?
No, I'm not a Delta.
Okay, AKA?
No.
Sigma Gamma Rho?
Yes. Why ask me that?
Because you said your line sister's name before.
I know. Yes. Sigma
So
Gamma.
my point is, ma'am, that when you're a little girl, I don't think you likely thought I'll be a dog mom adopting 2 kids at 45, and that'll be the testament of my life.
No.
Why is that good enough now? Why is that what you're willing to settle for? See, I'm gonna say something. I'm gonna move you to the side. Ladies, why are you always talk about what man you ain't willing to settle for? I ain't gonna settle. Why are you willing to settle for death by yourself? Ladies, why are you willing to settle for dying alone? Why? You're the only group of women on the planet who is willing to be strong, independent. I don't need no man because I ain't gonna settle, but you'll settle for dying alone. Write it down, trademark it.
Can I say one thing?
Sure, go ahead. We're back to you now.
Oh,
go ahead. That was an aside. Go ahead.
People who have, I'm just being honest, I'm not making this up. People who have dated me or my friends and my friends who are in relationships, and they're always like, you are so cool. And the guys that I date, you are so cool. You make me laugh. You're this, you're that, blah, 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 blah. And it's like, after they date me, they go to an ex or somebody else, and then it's like they get married to that person.
Yeah, because nobody wants to marry the cool chick. They want to marry a wife.
What makes me not a wife?
Well, first off, you're extremely picky. So you probably rank rather low in agreeableness.
I am very agreeable. I am
okay.
And I know a man's role in a relationship.
Okay.
I do believe
if I ask the guys have you ever interviewed your exes?
Interviewed them?
Yes.
I've asked because I'm cool with my exes.
Okay. What is it like to be with you then?
I'm cool. Fun. It's fun. Pretty much.
So a guy that you so if I interviewed your first ex-fiance, he would tell me being with you was what?
My first ex-fiance, he would say being with me was amazing, and
right until you dumped him.
He would still say that.
Okay, and then the second guy would say being with you is what?
Fun. And
okay, then the guy you made wait 90 days. How long were you guys together?
There's been more than one, but the last one probably no more than a year.
You were with a guy for a year.
Months.
Okay, and why did you leave that relationship?
It was kind of a waste.
Okay, a waste meaning what? A waste meaning what? A waste meaning what? Your purpose in life is to. This is gonna be tough, ma'am. But at 38 years old, you're doing something in the youth facility or youth what?
My job?
Yeah, your yes.
I'm in education right now.
Okay, you're in education. So it's not like you're solving the Riemann hypothesis. Why does a man need to be all these great and wonderful things other than a man?
Because I'm all these great and wonderful things.
Bullshit.
I am.
No, you're not. You're a normal, average, everyday woman. See, that's the problem. So many women pedestalize it. No, man. Where'd you go to college?
HBCU, Lemoyne on college.
Okay, what makes you great and wonderful and in the top 1% of all women?
I am not in the top percent of.
So that means so you're great and wonderful and all these things. What in your life makes you say that you're that?
I do believe I'm a great person.
It doesn't mean you're not. You can be a good person, but when I say it's so great and wonderful and everything else, go back to that cherry on top, and that's how you think of yourself, and that's why it's difficult for women like yourself to be with a man, because you always need to be above a man, and the men who are above you won't deal with you. Because we don't have time for that kind of shit. Honestly, we don't.
I hear what you're saying. I hear what you're
Well,
saying.
the thing is, ma'am, and see, this is the kind of arrogance and entitlement we this is what men think of it. The full of yourselfness that so many all the ladies independent. I mean, that stuff in our culture has the women thinking they're better than the men, smarter than the men, above the men. But you're the most unmarried, most engaged, most enrolled, and ain't nobody marrying black women. Nobody. Brad, Leah, Meg, Keith, and Enrique, they were like, how can you even deal with this? Because at the end of the day, are you a Christian? I don't know if you are or not. I didn't ask.
I'm a Christian.
Huh?
Yes, I'm Christian.
Okay. Then if you're a Christian, a woman's purpose on the planet is a man. Your job is to be a helpmeet. Go forth, be fruitful, and multiply. That's the commandment. See, we're the most Christian, unchristian people. If black women actually acted like the Christians they say they are, a lot of this stuff would self-correct, because a lot of stuff you're talking about has no humility in it. You couldn't say I'm great and wonderful and all this if you really truly had an accurate estimation of your Christian self. But we don't say that. We don't say it in the pulpit because the pastor got to keep the tithes and offerings coming. Men have been shouted down in the community so much, or even, I mean, you've said you've had opportunity after opportunity after opportunity after opportunity with men. You've had an embarrassment of opportunities and relationships, and no man is good enough.
I just would rather be alone than miserable with someone, because some of my friends or whatever who are in relationships, I see the ugly side of it.
I'd rather die alone than settle. You can't make this shit up.
I hear you. I hear exactly what you're saying.
And here's the thing, sister. Ain't nobody gonna stop you. There's a whole industry that benefits off of black women being single and alone, because you may be a perfectly cool person to work with. You haven't been argumentative. You have not been loud, cursing. I don't think that's in you. But the sad part is your outcome is going to end up being the same thing as a ratchet, loudmouth, difficult to get along with. The end result is the same thing. Dog alone death. At best, you got to go adopt somebody else's children, because you could not come into cooperation with a man in your own natural life.
There's still time. I still have time.
For biological children?
Oh, absolutely.
Yeah, you have time. You have time, man. But let's go back 20 minutes ago. You don't have anybody in the pipeline, in the process. No man of value is actively vetting you to be his wife. So, ma'am, you may have time on the calendar, but you don't have time with a man of value. Be honest with yourself. Stop saying you have time if you don't actually have somebody trying to engage you now.
There is someone that has recently come back into the picture.
Does he want children?
No, he has children.
Exactly. Your godfather can't make this shit up, because people don't go for 30. They don't typically go for difficult to deal with 38-year-olds to have babies.
He doesn't think I'm difficult to deal with.
Okay.
I'm truly not difficult. In a relationship, I am the.
However you want. Okay, ma'am. You're easy to deal with, but okay.
In a relationship.
Okay.
Maybe not elsewhere.
But still, being a stepmother or an adopted mother, what you want? Or do you want to see your own DNA? Do you want to see your daughter looking back at you with your eyes? Don't give me the college answer. Give me the truth.
No, the truth is what I said earlier. If I marry a man who wants to have a child with me, that's fine. This person,
I ask you, what do you want?
has mentioned mentioned children.
I asked you what you want.
I don't necessarily want biological children.
Okay. If you don't want biological children, that's fine. So why are we talking about I still have time to have biological children if you don't want
No, I
them?
still have time to meet someone. I don't have necessarily, I won't necessarily die alone because I still have time to meet a
Man,
man.
when I was talking about kids, when I was talking about you running out of time.
Oh.
Okay, yeah, you still have time to meet somebody. Yes, you do. Certainly. However, you also got to get realistic. What kind of relationship do you want with a man post 40 years old? Do you expect to work until 65 plus?
I probably will.
Well, if you don't get married, you definitely will. Unless you're independently wealthy already, you're going to have to work at least until retirement age.
And I am not independently wealthy.
So you will have to work to 65 plus because your career path is not one of riches.
I make good money.
Good money is not one of riches.
I don't make that kind of money, right?
Okay, so it's middle class above, but it's not.
Right.
Okay, so that is not enough money to administer an elderly woman as your body starts to break down post 50 years old.
Yes, I hear you.
So it becomes a matter of necessity. See, why I said it's so complex because so many women like yourself want this fantasy instead of the hardcore practicality of getting with the man to build something. But no, now we get to the point where you're in no man's land. And now it's like, well, what are we going to do? Well, I got to try to see if I can find someone who's willing to partner with me and make a deal for what? To survive. Just to survive, to get to the grave and not be alone because there won't be any children out of it. And all due respect, you've already shown yourself to be difficult to deal with a man because one man didn't challenge you. One man's not going anywhere. All these men that you've been involved with, everyone seemed to be deficient some way. And I will say this and I'll get to the next thing. Relationships are reflective. That's why I said ultimately therapy is a good idea because the only common denominator in all of your chaotic situations are you. There's the only thing that was the denominator with me. Do you think your father has 3 daughters and wants to see them unmarried when he leaves this planet, unattached to anybody, out here floating in the universe? He knows what that means. But so many women walk through life so worried about the sex ain't good enough, or he's not challenging me, this and that. And every other group of women seem to understand the practical reason. You need a man.
That was the nice way to say why the second fiance didn't work out. I just didn't, I'm not trying to be rude.
Okay, I don't need you to be rude, but the thing is, I need women to start hearing women talk about these things so the younger women can decide what they want. Because in the Black community, marriage and relationship is not promoted. Cooperating and submitting with a man is not promoted. And the thing is, we tell women that you can be living single or girlfriends and all these fantasy wonderful things that they are shown in sitcoms. What they don't show is the 40-plus-year-old women who are miserable. Miserable. Many overweight, many childless, many with jobs, middling jobs, not careers, making above the median income, but below anything that's going to make them rich. You can go out eat dinner every now and then, but you're not traveling to Paris or France or this or that. But in order to be with a man, he needs to be able to take you to the moon, or else I'd rather do bad all by myself. We have so many things in our community that make women, sisters, sit back thinking, if I can't be with a man who can do all this, I'd rather be because I can do bad all by my what? Self. And I would rather instead of settle. And that's what a lot of women are going to get in our community because 1 in 4 will marry at this rate. That means 3 out of 4 will die alone. And you are fortunate because you at least have had men. You've had opportunities. And it's not like you still have opportunities. All I'm saying, ma'am, just go get a mental checkup. Don't blow the opportunities that you still currently may have. Because for a woman like yourself who's always had opportunities, it's going to be a real shock when the opportunities stop. And they do that for everybody. Appreciate it, though. That was a good call. Thanks, man.
It was a great call. I love that, Kevin honestly had like a slight turn at the end of the conversation, leaning more into just really developing her mind to understand that it should be more practical decisions now that she's older rather than what's going to make her tingle or feel good. This woman has a track record of not being able to be a partner with someone. She showed no ability to cooperate with anyone, to be able to sustain something for a very long time. And I think these are some of the things that more men need to look out for. She's 38 years old. She doesn't have any kids, has a dog at home. Every situation that has been tough or a little bit of trouble will come up. She's gone. She's out of there. If a guy doesn't challenge her intellectually, even though they have damn near the same degree and work in the same place, she needs someone better. I remember Kevin saying this in a different episode, and this resonated so well. He said, black men have to damn near be perfect in order for black women to date them normally. They have to be perfect in order for a black woman to want them normally. Another race, for example, if it's with a Caucasian male or a white man, he doesn't have to be all of that. He doesn't have to make over 100,000, 150 a year. He doesn't have to make 200,000 a year. But if it's a black man, damn near, she's going to be expecting that man to make a significant amount of money a year. So it's even like they have different standards for us. And obviously this is we're not even going to get into like the race topic, because obviously people are people and men are men. And that's how we look at it on this side. Of course, race is important. Race obviously have a part to play in the world, but we don't care about that. We're worried about the solid people, and then we're just looking over at the people that aren't solid. That's it. We don't care about the whole race aspect. We care about getting outcomes and living life to our potential. But yeah, this was a very interesting episode, to say the least. Of course, we fall into the same traps, the 38-year-olds getting up in life, not wanting to settle down, refuse to settle down, would prefer just to stay alone than to have anyone. If they can't get the man making $250 a year and also tells them the thing to make them tingle and to make them feel like they are the prize, and they can't go on trips every other month, they aren't worth it.
Miss F.
Hi, Kevin.
How are you? Hold on, Art. Hold on, Art. So I got to get to the next one. What do you got for me?
Well, I have a couple of questions. Obviously, you see, I'm a Mrs. So,
Yes.
so my questions for you are about the things you said about being cooperative and the weight and how
Okay.
big of an issue that is. And I've had a couple of children, so and I've put on quite a bit of weight since I got married. And I'm still cute in the face, but I don't know if you want to be the judge of that. Well, you see my picture.
Well, how many children do you have?
2.
And how old is your youngest?
2.5.
And you want to share how many pounds have you put on since marriage?
60.
All right. And are you working?
Part-time. I work part-time.
All right.
So not so, but I'm so I stay home with the children.
Let me ask you a question.
Mm-hmm.
God forbid your husband would come home tomorrow and say, I want a divorce. And he serves your papers and you divorce inside of 90 days. Would you keep those 60 pounds on?
No.
Why?
Because I got to get back out there, I guess.
Oh, damn. So basically you're telling your husband is because the price for you staying in this marriage is me having this additional 60 pounds. But if you were to leave me, I'd lose it.
I am working to get it off, though. I am working to get it off.
I just gave it to you, plain and simple. I let you resolve that. Because if your youngest is 2.5, all I know is that's 30 months.
Mm-hmm.
That should have been gone long time ago.
Yeah.
That's why I said in 90 days. See, that's not right.
Right. No, I know. So what, I guess, I wonder, because he doesn't say anything, because he's not the type of person, but I just wonder, like, what is he?
So if he didn't say anything, you would just serve him boiled chicken with no seasoning on it, no salt, no pepper, no Lowry's. Just stick some chicken in the water and boil it, and you serve it to him. And even though he said nothing, you keep serving it to him. Boiled chicken.
That's an interesting analogy, but no.
Why not?
I wouldn't serve him boiled chicken. Well, because that chicken doesn't taste good.
Right. So it doesn't matter whether he says something or not. You know what tastes good to a mouth.
Mm-hmm.
So whether he says something or not, you know what he married and what looks good to the eye.
Right.
Do you like the way you look naked getting out of the shower? Wet?
I don't.
All right then. So doesn't matter if he says anything or not. He can say that's my wife. She had 2 babies and all. But you don't even like the boiled chicken.
Right.
All right. So let's not make it a matter of him having to get upset or leaving.
Right. Right. Yeah. I certainly wasn't trying to make it a matter of that.
I'm trying to make it a lighter mood. That's all I'm saying. Give you a different perspective.
Yeah. And it was more or less, as a person who is kind of out in the community, out in the public eye. My husband is just.
Who's that? You?
Well, actually, both of us are, but he is as well.
You're out in the community doing. What do you mean?
So, and I called in last week. My husband is an attorney, and so he's involved in the community and different community work like that.
So you guys go to functions together?
We do.
Oh, so you don't think that he would want to have his wife 60 pounds less on his arm making him look good to his colleagues?
I know he would. I know he would.
Okay, well then what's the holdup?
There's no holdup. I've been trying to get mentally together because it is difficult to be a mom of 2 little ones. So I'm trying to make sure I'm making time for myself. That's been the most difficult thing.
Mom. Now I need to remind now I'm gonna have to go ahead and reach for my slap button.
Uh-oh.
I need to remind you that if your husband came in and hit you with divorce papers, you said you would get out there because you lose that weight because you got to get out there and date.
But I don't know if I lose it. Sorry, I don't know if I lose it in 90 days.
No, I didn't say 90 days, but you said you would lose it because you got to get out there. So my point is, the little ones would not stop you from losing weight because you got to get out there and get a new man. It should not be a reason for you not to already do something with the man who's already bought you. See, what it is, ma'am, is you're taking him for granted.
Does he see it? Do you think he sees it that way?
Yes,
Okay.
most definitely.
Okay.
I mean, he's an attorney. He's not a great picker. He's a top earner.
Mm-hmm.
And if you were to divorce him, do you think he would could go find a younger, hotter, more fit woman?
He could, and he's a 3%er as far as height is concerned.
Exactly.
He's 6'3".
And how much does he weigh?
He he lost weight during COVID, so he's like, I think he's probably back up to 230 now.
So my point is, you get a 6'3", 230-pound, 3% man.
Mm-hmm.
Let me go ahead and reach for the slap button.
Oh no, not the slap.
I mean, seriously, you're taking him for
Not the
granted.
slap.
You're taking him for granted.
Okay, because and I think that's more of what I call for. I know I need to lose it, but it's more of I wonder what he's thinking about it.
Well, what he's
You know
probably
what I
thinking
mean?
about,
Mentally.
what he might be thinking about is why do I have to go out and become a 3% attorney, and why do I have to tell my wife that I want her to look like my wife when I married her? Why do I have to do that? That's probably what he's thinking. Why is she going to make me have to say this when she
Mm-hmm.
knows? Because I'm quite sure you've mentioned something about your weight in passing.
Mm-hmm.
Or okay, so he's
Mm-hmm.
probably thinking, why is she going to make me have to say it when she doesn't like it?
Mm-hmm. Mm-hmm.
But that's the cooperative piece. What about cooperation?
So that was the other thing I was going to ask you. I listened to your show about 5 traits of a high value woman and the cooperative part or the discipline and discerning part. Sent it to my married girlfriends. They loved it, by the way.
Mm-hmm.
And I feel like one of the battles that we have is about him saying he wants to go left. And I'm like, okay, but before we go left, let's look at all the pros and cons of going left. And I feel like he's just thinking, like, dude,
What do you
I
do for
said,
a living?
you got to trust me to go left.
What do you do
I
for a
work,
living?
I'm a journalist.
Hmm.
So I
Who's
ask
the
a lot of questions.
right? But who's the majority breadwinner?
He is.
Hmm. So, that's emasculating. He's 6'3", 230 pounds a man, 3% high earning, and getting emasculated by an overweight journalist.
Okay.
I'm just how to. You asked me.
No, you did. You did.
That's
I
emasculating.
did.
I
I
mean,
did.
if you
Okay.
okay, so imagine if you came home and he said, "Honey, I have a client, and I'm going down this. We're going down this strategy. I've argued before this judge, and we have all the case law and so on and so forth. And then when I told the client this is the strategy, they said, "Well, you know what? I watched Law and Order, and I thought about going to law school. Have you thought about this? Have you thought about that? Have you thought about this? Have you thought about that?" What would you think of that client?
That they don't trust my judgment.
Wouldn't you feel some kind of way? It's like, well, what would you think about how that client was treating your husband?
Mm,
And he's the
I,
attorney, right? And that they're
right.
paying the bill,
Right.
right?
Mm-hmm.
So,
Mm-hmm.
would you not think that that's kind of rude of a client?
Mm. Yeah.
Right.
Because I
But
know I
it's
think that when I hear people say things on TV about the media and they have no idea
right. But it's
how
not
it
about
works.
but it's not about you, it's about him.
Right.
The ladies have a great way of switching it back to you guys. Let's keep it on him.
Okay.
And the point of the matter is, man, as a client, they probably feel like, well, I'm paying the bill, so I should have an input. So as the wife, even though you're gonna lead, I'm the wife, I should have an input.
Mm-hmm.
Taking your husband for granted, man.
Well, I don't want to do that.
Or you don't want to lose him.
No, I certainly don't. He's a great husband. He's a great dad.
Well, um, better question is, why do you feel? I mean, he's an attorney. Why do you need to? Because understand, um, what you the direct. Okay, what city do you live in?
I live in South Florida.
Okay, let's say you live in Miami.
Mm-hmm.
If I'm going to ask you how to get to Dolphin Stadium
Mm-hmm.
from your neighborhood, you know pretty much the direction you will go.
Right.
Is that the only way to get to Dolphin Stadium from your neighborhood?
No.
No. But see, that's the direction you will go. It's the outcome, the destination we're worried about. And you want him to go down your outcome.
Mm-hmm.
That's putting you in charge.
Mm-hmm.
Do you trust him to get you? Okay, has he ever let you down? Has he not gotten the family to the destination it needs to be at?
No.
Then how much then he should have earned enough points for you to back up and not put this off on, no disrespect, ma'am, journalism. That's a BS cop out. That's just something we say to make yourself feel justified in doing something you know is not healthy for your marriage.
Mm-hmm.
I mean, I'm a journalist. So that means you get to nitpick and question everything?
No. I was just saying I'm a question asker
Okay, but you
by
ask,
nature.
but the thing is, but the thing is, you don't. It's but your husband's not a story.
Mm-hmm.
He's the authority you're supposed to submit to.
Mm-hmm.
But it sounds to me like you're leading this marriage.
Hmm. In what way? I'm not disagreeing with you. I just want to be clear in what you're saying.
Well, the fact that you want me to just give it to you straight, no chaser. Which one you want? The
I'm
salt.
I'm fine. I'm fine with that. We're not sitting
Oh,
across from each other from dinner, and you've already
okay,
slapped me, so
okay.
it's fine.
No. Well, the fact that you can come in the house 60 pounds overweight
Mm-hmm.
and question a 6'3", 230-pound attorney tells me that you feel like you got a lot more on the ball than he does. You must feel like you're in a dominant position to come in and do that. 6'3", 230, and a top 3% earner. And you're going to question him? You only do that from a comfortable place of strength. See, if he were in charge, you would have had that 60 pounds off before the baby was 3 months old. Or you wouldn't have got any sex. You'd have been sleeping on the couch. I mean, I'm going to tell you about serious, high value men. You'd have had a female personal trainer. You'd have been juicing. You'd have been eating a salad with a side of vegetables and water. You'd have been getting up at 4 o'clock in the morning. Yes, you'd have got that weight off if he were in charge. And you'd have did it with a good attitude because you're trying to please your husband. Not lay in the bed and say, I got these kids and everything else. Two completely different attitudes, man. You're in charge in this situation. Until you're not.
That's interesting.
Well, you haven't said I'm not right.
No, no. When I say interesting, I mean interesting from the standpoint of that's
How often
as a woman
do you
that's
say
not how I
yes to
think
him?
about it. How do I say yes to him?
How often do you say yes to him?
In what way? Just in general?
See,
Well, no, well, no, I didn't know what you meant. I didn't know if you meant like,
there's only
do you
one
want to go to the movies?
there's
Yes,
only
or
one
do you want to like?
there's only one way.
Oh, okay, all the time.
Has he asked you to all the time? Has he asked you to stop questioning him?
Yes.
Get over here real quick.
He typically says this. He typically says, "Who's the leader?"
Right.
And I'm like, I don't know what that means.
Right. Yes, you do. Yes, you do. Yes, you do. Yes, you do. Who's the leader in the paper? Is it the editor?
Yeah.
Then you understand. Can you write whatever you want, or does it have to eventually go through the editor?
It has to go through the editor.
Is your editor a male or female?
Male.
What is his race?
Well, we have two. I have a Latin one, and then I have a female. So we have an assistant editor, and then the editor, and the top editor is female.
And what's her race?
She's white.
And the male is Latin?
Yes.
So you can listen to a white woman and a Latin man, but not your black husband.
Mm. So when I say I don't know what that means, I mean,
no, you don't know what it means in terms of you don't know what it means in terms of a relationship, but you know what it means when your job is on the line. But see, your job is your husband. And if your job was on the line, like I asked you 5 minutes ago, if he came and filed divorce papers, you'd get that weight up off of you because you'd have to go get a new job.
Right. So I mean, when I meant who's the leader, I meant in the sense of other than the weight, obviously that's an issue, okay. But I meant in the sense of what I thought that I was doing. I thought I was being a good follower, taking care of the children. Okay. And
well, a good follower, a leader doesn't have to question. You just follow. See, if this was the military and the sergeant, the captain, the colonel, the general gave the order, can a private sit back and say, well, let's look at this battle plan, sir? Do they have the latitude?
No.
Right.
So
because there's a there's a hierarchy, and you submit to the man who has stripes. You don't have to. Okay. You don't get to question, ma'am. He's the husband. He's the provider. You shouldn't be questioning anything. He shouldn't. I said it the other day. High value women are transparent. They don't play games because ultimately they're on your side. You're not on his side. You're on your side.
He said that before too.
Go.
And I'd be like, how? I don't understand. Well, and I really didn't understand.
Well, but yeah, you do, because if your editor said, hey, you need to get on, this is the philosophy of the paper, and this is what we're doing, you would understand, because they could fire you. Ma'am, you understand it when that white woman and Hispanic man, that paper, your job, you understand it very well. I mean, the fact of the matter is, it sounds like you have more respect for the people at work than you do for your husband. Mm-hmm. And that's a damn shame, because you're talking about a top 3% black man who's in the top. I mean, oof.
It is. And let me say this. I can't speak for anybody else. I know I'm not doing it in a malicious way. Like, you're not going to tell me what to do, blah, blah, blah. But I think I wasn't really sure what he meant when he said that.
Do you move so like your husband's colleagues, do their wives, are they your size?
Do they what?
Well, when I look at
are they my size?
I look at high earning men. When I was in my job, I looked at how their wives came in, and the the way the black women who were married came in completely different than the non-black women.
Right.
Different attitude.
Right.
And ma'am, you know what it is. He um this is sad. It's sad because men are hearing that goddamn you can become a top high value, high earning man and you still gotta put up with this. Just because you're not cussing them
Well,
out,
I don't.
just because you're not cussing them out, calling them all kind of beta male coons and bitch ass niggas and shit like that, doesn't make it
Mm-hmm.
any better, man.
Hmm.
I mean, let's start with number
Okay.
one. Why would the boiled chicken analogy? You don't mind this him take it. He don't matter to you to do nothing special for him.
Mm-hmm. Okay.
But the sad part is, um, and this is why a lot of guys typically don't like to have kids, is because you, you do more for the kids than for your man.
Mm-hmm.
Man, lose the weight and just say yes. Because you won, and I don't think you want to see what it looks like when you lose. And he should not have to.
Yeah.
He should not have to. I mean, the fact of the matter that he even has to ask you who's the leader and who's the this or who's the that, and that you would actually say, "Well, I don't know what that means," or however you guys go back and forth with it, instead of saying, "Oh, baby, I'm sorry." No, I'm sorry, Daddy. What is it? The, which? Yes, sir. But that's not in your makeup. It's like because I'm a journalist and my job is a question, but you don't do that with. See, were you raised by your dad?
I was.
Okay. Was your father in charge of the house or your mother in charge of the house? Yeah.
I think my dad was.
Hmm.
He worked a lot though, but I still believe he was in charge. Yes, was and is
The final say in the house was who?
my dad.
Is your father like his son-in-law?
He does.
Has your father ever given you any advice about how you interact with his son-in-law?
He hasn't because I don't think um he doesn't. I don't think they see us enough to think to know that
Well,
I am not following the
let's
leadership, if
test
you
this.
will.
So,
Okay.
if your father heard that his daughter was acting this way to his son-in-law, what would he think?
This is going to sound like a silly question, but acting in what way? Do you mean the weight or do you mean because I don't talk to him poorly. And I think as a Black woman, that's what you think. You're like, well, I don't talk to him poorly, kind of like to your point. I know you already made that point, but that's part of the reason I called. It was very confusing to me because I'm like, well, I don't talk to you in a mean
Yeah,
way. And when you come home,
just because you don't curse him out, but you undermine him, you emasculate him,
mm-hmm,
you force his
mm-hmm.
hand. I mean, yeah, would your father say, "I raised you to be this way"?
No,
Would
yeah, I don't think he would.
would he be proud
He
of you?
wouldn't like that very
Would he
much.
be proud of you?
No,
So what else
he
do you?
wouldn't like that very much.
So what else do you need, ma'am? If your father wouldn't be proud of you, if this is not the way you're raised to be, if you listen to you understand how to follow the people who pay your paycheck. I mean, ma'am, this sounds a lot like power tripping. And Black women, you got to. I don't know. I don't know what it's gonna take for some of y'all to realize that Black men are they're becoming tired of this.
So, how does it work if you are when I say supposed to be in a partnership, I don't necessarily mean the two of us, but if you think, okay, I'm a helpmeet, we're in a partnership, when do you get to not question their decision, but say, did you think about this thing that could be a blind spot for them? You know what I'm saying?
Are you a football fan?
I am.
If you want to question the quarterback's decision making as the receiver, as the running back, as the offensive lineman, do you do it in the game?
No, I'm sorry, and I'm only laughing because you are literally using the same analogies he's used. He's like, I'm the quarterback, you're the receiver.
Man, but the thing is, I mean, you're really, you know the answers to these questions, but it's like you just don't want to submit.
But I do. I just think I don't know how.
No, you know how.
But I thought as his help, seriously, I thought as his helpmeet, my job, we're using football analogies. I'm his left tackle. Like, I don't want his blind side to get clobbered. I thought I was supposed to protect his blind side.
The left tackle doesn't call plays.
Right.
The left tackle follows orders, directions.
Mm-hmm.
It's what you do. You don't call plays.
Okay. So if you see someone coming, then what do you do? As the helpmeet,
what is a left tackle supposed to do?
He blocks for him.
Yeah. But that presumes that the quarterback doesn't see the person coming either, and the quarterback isn't already doing his job. You're trying to be the quarterback from the left tackle position.
Well, I think you just said something there where you said that presumes that the quarterback doesn't. And
you know what
didn't see it coming.
High maintenance left tackles end up getting traded.
Mm-hmm.
I'm trying not to go down that path, man, but really, this is not an intellectual exercise. You sound like you have a decent man who's trying to work with you, and you're trying to figure out intellectual ways to justify why you should just submit and not question the authority of your husband or whatever. I mean, it's not even, it doesn't, those may be the wrong words to choose, but you know what I'm getting at, man. You're trying to be in charge. No, I'm not trying to be. You're in charge of this marriage. If I watched you, I would almost guarantee you're running this marriage. If I watched you guys, I would be surprised if you were not running this marriage. And I go back to there's no way you could come home 60 pounds overweight if you were not running the marriage.
And that's what that signals to him.
That's what it signals to me. So it signals to any other man who would not allow that to happen in this house. You wouldn't come to my house 60 pounds overweight 2 years into it. I would give you every resource, but that weight would be gone.
Okay.
I mean, the thing is, you don't want it there, but you have no pressure. No. You have no consequence. You can do whatever you want. You can question them with no consequence. Okay, let's take it. Let's take it away from you and him. Okay, this may be a little too personal. Maybe a little too personal. Okay. Let's say that one of your examples where you said we're going to go left, and you said, well, have you ever thought about this, if we should go right, or what about this, what about that? And what about 300 years ago, all of a sudden you got a nice Sean Connery-like slap to your jaw. And when your daddy, he said, you shouldn't have questioned it. There was no police. No sheriff. And your mom would have said, how many times did you continue to question it? How many more times would you continue to question
it? You wouldn't in that case.
Exactly, because there'd be a consequence. There's no consequence to you questioning your husband. But there's a consequence to his manhood every time you question him. And that's what we tend to be missing. There's no consequence to
Mm.
you modern
Hmm.
women. You can talk to us. You're not physically stronger than him. You don't bring any more to the table. He is outperforming you on everywhere, but you talking to him like you bigger, stronger, and making more money.
Okay.
Because there's
Okay.
no consequence to it.
Hmm.
Your poodle. I mean, have you ever seen the little poodles when they? I'm not trying to call
Right.
you a poodle, but you get the thing, man. All right, so, ma'am, do you have any homegirls, or do you hang around any married women?
I do. We went to an event fairly recently,
Are they
and
all
all the
black? Are
women,
they all black?
they're all black.
Are they all dominating their husbands too?
No,
Really?
we actually all just had a conversation about that, and they're all very thin.
So you're the whole.
So
So you're the.
I'm the big
So you're
friend.
yeah. So you're the. So there's always usually allowed one troublemaker in the group. You're the troublemaker.
Mm,
Because if my thin, compliant, fit wife could not hang out with a group of you, there could be one of you in a group, but the rest of the group would have to outweigh you. You'd have to be wrong
mm,
most of the time.
mm-hmm.
That's why I was just trying to understand. Because if you would have told me you have a group of friends and they're like you, that would be bad. Ma'am, you understand what this is. It's just a matter of you going to do. Let me ask you this. Let me ask you this in all seriousness.
Mm-hmm.
All joking
Mm-hmm.
aside,
Mm-hmm.
what's it going to take for you to actually act right? Does he have to? What does he have to do before you? I mean, does he need to leave you? Does he need to threaten to divorce you? I mean, does he need to have an affair with a young? What does he need to do? Does he need to do something? Because you know what it is.
No, well, the thing is, I am working on the weight part. That part I'm working on.
Okay.
So the reason I was asking you about all the reason I asked you about that, it was more from an what is the subtext, if you will, of it. It's
The,
not the
the subtext. The
I know
subtext
from
is the subtext is this. This is not a philosophical exercise. It's not a philosophical exercise. You don't get to think your way out of this. You're just supposed to do what you're supposed to do, man.
oh no, that's not what I meant. I'm when I said the subtext, I meant like, okay, I know from an attraction standpoint, I don't look the same as I did when we met.
Uh huh.
But I mean from a how does that make you feel? You know, you said it makes you feel emasculated, or it makes you feel like
Well,
you're
how
not the
does it
leader
make you feel?
because that
How does it make you feel that you don't look the same way?
no, not me, him.
Right.
I wonder how it made him feel. That's why I wanted to know.
Well, I will be honest. You feel different. I mean, we can feel when we put our hands in you, hands on you when it goes into cellulite and fat, and we leave fingerprints. There's a difference. We
Hmm.
accept that, man, right after the kid. But the thing is, just doesn't really sound like you really care what he wants.
Mm.
So,
I really do. I do care
well,
what he
but
wants.
see, I don't. And here the thing is, I don't pay attention to what women say. I pay attention to what you do.
Right.
That's all that matters. What you do. And
Okay.
if the other thin women are friends or any indication, you know what? Because you say you're working on it. I mean, I don't understand what that means.
I'm going to the gym.
Mm-hmm.
I was there earlier this evening.
How many days a week?
Um, this day I went 4. If it's a great week, I'm there
Uh-huh.
4 days.
And what kind of
Um,
workout are you doing?
I usually will do cardio and weights. It just depends on the week. So it may be a week where I'm doing an AMRAP.
How long have you been doing
Um,
this workout?
so that's the problem. I haven't been consistent with it,
So it doesn't.
but I know how to work out.
So it doesn't matter.
It is not mattering right now.
No,
No.
it doesn't matter. See, and so you give me all this other subtext when the fact of the matter, you're really not working out.
Right.
So that was a deception. Yeah. That was deception.
Well, not a deception.
Yes, it was. I asked you if you were working out.
What?
Hold on, this was a live omission. I talked about this the other day. I asked you if you were working out, and you said yes. And I said, how often do you go? 4 days a week. And the implication was that you're actually in there working consistently. When at the end of the day, you're not going 4 days a week. Last week you may have went 4 days, but overall you're not really working out, because if you were, you'd have lost this weight. So you're really not working on it. That's the ultimate point. You're not working on it.
Mm-hmm.
Your mouth is working, but you're not working on it. And the biggest thing you have to work on is the diet more than anything else.
Correct.
So I get it, ma'am. So what I'm saying is, you talk a good game. That's why I say I don't listen to what you say. I listen to what you do. I look at what you do, and you're not doing it. You haven't changed your diet. You're not in the gym consistently. You're not working out with a personal trainer. You're not getting after it. But your husband has to get out there and provide like a 3% man.
So let me ask you this. Just taking that question you asked me, how should
after this, you're going to have to pay me, ma'am, because I don't. This is enough.
Okay. No, I just wanted to know how I was supposed to answer that question if when I say I'm working on it, because I am not being consistent, because I did say that.
How do you answer it? Truthfully, I ain't doing the damn thing.
Okay.
Because you're not. If your child came home with an F in math and said, Mama, I'm working on it, and they were putting in the kind of effort at homework as you were putting in the gym, would that be working on it?
No, but they have to start somewhere.
See, this is another. See what I said the other day? You ladies always give yourself excuses. This is why I say this is all right. This is not going to end well.
Oh no,
It's not going to end well. It's not going to end well, man. Because every time I say something, try to nail you down, you give yourself another excuse, and I'm not your husband, so I'm just like, God damn, you don't want to take any accountability for your Jesus. You got to start somewhere, lady. You had a baby 2.5 years ago. That shit should have been gone after 4 months. You've had 2 years to get this done, and you haven't. So miss me. We got to start somewhere. You are running your husband. You are domineering your husband. He sounds like a nice guy. Sounds like a beta male, and you're in charge. Beta males are waking up though, and at 34 years old, it'll be a hell of a lot easier for him to find somebody who's going to cooperate than have to deal with this, because you know better. I mean, really. I mean, I'm not trying to be rude, man, but do you need to work for the bills to get paid?
No.
So there's absolutely no French toast reason your ass can't be at the gym getting that shit up off of you. I don't. This is why this is why when I get frustrated, because I know where it's going to ultimately get to. You ladies will lie and maneuver, and it's bullshit. You don't respect this man.
Okay. Well, I will keep in contact, and I'll let you know how the weight loss is going.
No, to talk to me again, you have to pay me. Hell. I don't work for free.
I know. I'm only laughing. I was laughing because this wasn't in a life coach setting.
Actually, it really was. I did this for content because other people can benefit from it, because I needed them to see the links to which a non-compliant woman will go to be non-compliant while feigning compliance. I got what I wanted to get out of it. You're a non-compliant woman feigning compliance, trying to figure out a better way to manipulate and get over on her beta husband. And I'm telling you, I see the shit for what it is. And if he ever decides to see it for what it is, don't be surprised if you get hit with them papers and he end up with Becky. Because you had plenty of time to get your shit together, but you just didn't respect him or value him enough to do it. But like you said at the beginning, if he hit you with papers, you would have your ass in the gym because you'd have to go get another job, which is a man. So miss me with the fact that you don't know. You would know real quick, because there'll be a consequence. This is why you got to give women consequences, gentlemen, because if you don't, no offense, ma'am, but you have children. If you don't give kids consequences, this is the kind of behavior you get. And that's ridiculous. You shouldn't get that. You shouldn't have to, as a 3% man, he should not have to go through all this with his wife. He should not have to. You should be giving her the best you got. And that's sad. It's really sad.
Okay.
No, I mean, I don't mean, you know it is. So, you know it is.
No, I don't. I'm not offended at all.
There's
By
no
what
reason
you
to be
said.
offended. I only use what
Yeah,
you
by
said.
what. Yeah,
But you're not
no,
giving. Are you giving your husband your best?
I am not. I'm
That's
not.
all it is to
I'm
it.
definitely not.
Then I don't see how you can. There's nothing else to be said. There's nothing else to be
Right.
said. If you're not giving him your best, that's it.
No, I get it. I just, again, I wasn't, I did not understand how that equated to leadership and cooperation and those things. I truly did not.
Let me
I
also
did
let me
not.
go. Let me also say something to you, and this is going to hurt a little bit to you, and maybe you don't need to understand to do what the hell you need to do just because he said so. Sometimes you just tell your kids because I said so. You don't have to
Uh-huh.
keep explaining to somebody you're paying for and leading.
Mm.
At what point is it going to just be because I fucking said so? But you don't look at him as a leader. You don't look at him because I guarantee you, you didn't get to question your father like this, did you?
No,
You're
I
goddamn
didn't.
right. And that when you're supposed to go from your father's house to him, your husband should really be your second father, not your brother. You're treating him like a brother, not your second father. You would not question your father, but you damn sure will question your brother. This is all jacked up.
Because my dad is, to this day, he says, "Hey, I'm not talking about it anymore." He pulls the trump card and say, "Hey, that's it. I'm done. I'm not talking about it anymore."
Hopefully, your husband will develop that kind of backbone and y'all can get it together. Because I don't.
Oh, he does too.
No, he doesn't. Because if he did, we wouldn't even be having this conversation. He does it when he does in areas where you don't care. He doesn't get to do what he wants because you've already told the truth. You question him left and right, and you're running this relationship. And like I said, you know what? You know how to comply with the people that you work with and your father. You just didn't marry a man that you respected enough. Have a good night.
Mm.
This was one of the best episodes that I've reacted to. A very surgical episode, of course. What it really comes down to for women like this is they really believe that they are the prize. They believe that they are the ones that should be bowed to. They really believe that they are the ones that should be calling the shots. Because if it's not how they dreamt it in their head, it's not right. This woman has no respect for her husband. And Kevin said he was a beta. It does sound like this man is a beta, but also clearly he's successful, right? He's got his family. Everything is going good. But the wife is the one that is determining what she gives to her husband. And what she's essentially saying about him is, you don't really deserve the best of me. You don't. I'm going to come in here knowing that attraction is of utmost importance. I'm going to come in here and just give you blob. She doesn't want to give him a nice body to look at. She doesn't want to go work out, take the time, maybe eat a little less, so her husband can be more attracted to her. And all of these things simply come down to discipline. So people that can get to where they want to be in life, it all starts from discipline. She has no discipline at all. She's probably thinking he makes enough money. I've had his children already. I could work on little passion projects, and he'll just get like, I've won. I'm good now. That's it. Race over. When in all reality, it's just begun. This is supposed to be the time, and even from a health perspective, right? Why do you not want to live longer? Why do you not want to be as healthy as possible? People understand that as you get older, your joints get weaker. So you should be taking the weight off of your joints, not adding to them. All of these things are clearly not important for her. So not only is she not doing it for herself or doing it for her children to be there to see them grow up and eventually start their own families, she's not even doing it for the husband that is taking care of her now, providing for her and the family, and is an attorney that goes out to business meetings and speak to people in public spaces. When he brings you around, you don't believe that is also a direct reflection of him and his household? He walks in there, has all his stuff together, and then he's trailing behind a woman that's built poorly. And again, this all comes from discipline. See, the thing is, on this channel, and even with Kevin, I think the main thing is we want people to get outcomes, right? Especially the outcomes that you want. We have conversations on here. We try to, obviously level up our way of thinking. Like, the women say level up their dating. We want to level up our way of thinking. We want to become smarter. We want to become wiser. We want to move throughout the world with the right information and a sense of urgency. So these truths that aren't talked about need to be spoken on. And even if it's hard for us to hear, we need to hear it. The best thing for this woman to do is to get herself in the gym, not only do it for her kids and herself, but do it for your husband. This is the person that picked you. This is the person that has cemented a marriage with you and wants the legacy to continue through his kids. But you have to be the best version of yourself. You're someone's wife. And I know more and more that term is being diminished, but you're someone's wife. She should act like it. But, spreading this message, I hope someone else can watch this video and either get motivated to start doing better or learn from this so you never get there. I think the best thing is to learn from other people's experiences so you don't have to then go through them, or you at least know what the other side of that looks like. But I want everyone to please comment your thoughts and opinions in the comment section down below. Make sure you guys like and subscribe if you guys haven't already. Turn on post notifications so you will be alerted when we upload more videos just like this one. I'll see you guys in the next video. Peace.